Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. My card today involves a gingerbread tag, but in a fun new way. Take a look at this. I've created a fun slit on the front of the card to house the gingerbread. He would make a great bookmarker over the holidays, and I've got a couple other ideas on how you can use him. The slit is going to be created using our paper trimmer. I'm going to give you a couple tips on alignment so that it'll be easy for you to duplicate. Remember to head over to my blog for all the cutting dimensions as well as still photographs, and while you're there, check out the online classes tab for project PDF tutorials and the next schedule for studio stamps in the mail. I'm so glad you joined me, but let's get over the stamp table and let's get started. Here's a good close-up of our tag pull-out card. Isn't this adorable? You can see that I have cut a slit in the front of this card that's going to allow the tag to be inserted. The great thing about this is even after the holidays, if you've got a gingerbread lover in your group of people you're sending your cards to, this is going to make a really cute bookmarker. Or go a step further and put a magnet on the back and let them be able to use it as a refrigerator magnet for the holidays. Let me show you how to put the card together. You're going to start with a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This measures 5.5 by 8.5. Forgive the background. I'm going to bring in my Big Shot in just a second because I know this blends really well. And a bone folder to go over that nice crisp crease. And then now we're going to do some texturizing. I've talked about this fabulous embossing folder before. Look at how thick it is compared to the others. This is the cable knit embossing folder, and I absolutely love the deep impressions that it provides. You can see here on my original card, so pretty. I have my Big Shot. It comes with the multi-purpose platform. Because of the depth of this embossing folder, you are not going to need a clear mat on the bottom like we would typically use with the other folders. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up your cardstock here with your score line near the edge. You're going to lay that straight on top of the platform. Remember, the thickness of this folder is going to compensate for that other mat. The other clear mat over the top. And again, you're going to want to be really careful that you line up your edges well because you don't want to chew up the embossing folder as you crank it through the Big Shot. It is literally the same width as the platform. So you just want to make sure you've got your positioning in place. So here we have that deep impression on our card. Really pretty. Now we're going to create the tag that's going to go inside the front of the slit. I'm using the scalloped tag topper punch and a piece of designer paper from the Candy Cane Lane Designer Series paper stack. This measures 2 by 4 3/4. Remember, I'm going to have all the dimensions on my blog, so head over there, as well as the still pictures. I'm sliding this up the track of the punch. You're going to go back as far as you can, use the heel of your hand, and punch, and that's going to give you that perfect tag top. To reinforce the heaviness of the tag, I've created a overlay for it, and this is real red cardstock. This measures 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. I love this silicone craft mat because my adhesive will not stick to my work surface. I am going to adhere this to the tag base, put some adhesive on the back. That's just in case I go over that paper. It's not going to end up on my grid sheet and make it all sticky. So now we have the base of our tag. Here at the bottom, I'll use the Early Espresso ink, and from the Coordinating Cookie Cutter Christmas stamp set, I'm going to be using the words to and from. I love that there's a little tag greeting in here, as well as my gingerbread to finish off the card. So I'm stamping my greeting. Photopolymer is going to make it great for alignment, and I'm going to stamp that here near the bottom. I'll use the crumb cake ink to do my impression of my gingerbread man. So I'm going to ink him up in the crumb cake, and I'm actually stamping him on the same color cardstock, crumb cake. And I'll place him here and press. Again, photopolymer, making it really easy for you to see. This is the Cookie Cutter Builder Punch. Coordinates beautifully with this stamp set, as well as the Cookie Cutter Halloween set, which has got some really cute fall images in it as well. I'll slide this in, and I will line him up. I like to make sure that he's got a nice centered border all the way around the outside, and then I'll punch. The same punch has an adorable little heart, and I'm going to punch out 2 of those. So I'm going to slide my paper in here to where my heart is, and I'm going to punch 1. I'm going to do one more, 2. The next thing I'll do is I'll add some dimensionals to the back of my gingerbread man. Put one at the head, one here at the bottom, and take off that paper backing. And I'm going to mount him near the top. I want to make sure that I leave room now for the slit that's going to be in the card that's going to go in on this. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm going to get the white chalk marker out. I'm going to get this started on a piece of scratch paper. I find that it works a little bit better, so we got a nice flow going there. I'm going to color in this area here, and I'm going to color in his eyes, his mouth, and of course these other areas that are mimicked in the stamp just to create that look of icing. So I'm just going to repeat over these areas. This chalk marker is great. The tip may look like it's wide, but I'm able to get in some really nice detailed areas with this, and you can't beat the price. It's just super affordable. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add those small hearts over this area where the buttons are. Best way to do that is with the fine tip glue. Now, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell this pickup tool. It's made by Silhouette, and I get lots of questions about it. It has a tacky tip, which makes it easy to pick up small pieces like sequins and, of course, these little hearts. Fine tip glue is liquid, so you're not going to want to squeeze too much, otherwise you're going to have glue everywhere. So I'm going to put a little here and a little here. And I'm going to take my heart and I'm going to place it over the first one. I colored those in, didn't I? I colored them in for no reason. I hope you guys noticed that, right? Didn't you just say, why did you color those in? All right, so now we have our hearts right over our gingerbread men. To cap the fine tip glue, the best way to do this is to put your finger up against the pin. Now there's a needle inside the lid that keeps it from getting clogged. So that finger there is going to help you put the pin inside so that you can slide it in and then screw it back on. And that's going to just keep your glue nice and fresh every single time you want to use it. So you're going to need to let that sit and dry for just a couple minutes. And while it's doing that, let's work on the slit of the base of the card. I'm grabbing a mechanical pencil because I find the erasers on these are really user-friendly. It comes out really well. If I make little tick marks, it comes right out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up and decide where I'm going to have that slit fall. So you can put it on an angle if you'd like, or you can do it up and down. I think my other one is on a slight angle. I wouldn't be going too crazy if I was you to try to figure it out to make it perfect. So I'm just going to leave it up straight up and down, and I'm going to have it come across here. So I'm going to make a small tick mark here and a tick mark here so I know the width, and then right across the other side. I'm just going to visually look. It's not going to have to be perfect. Remember, another one here. So now I have my tick marks where my slit is going to go. Next comes the Stampin' Trimmer. Remember, the light blade is for scoring. The dark blade is for cutting. And if you didn't know this, there is a track that has a slit in it down the cutting area. This is actually where the blade will travel. It doesn't actually come into contact with it, but it'll give you a good idea for placement. So we know we want to cut between this point and this point. And I want my cardstock to be fairly straight, so you can put it near the top if you want it to be perfect. To be honest with you, it's not imperative. If it's on an angle, that's fine too, but just for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and put it there. So I can see my pencil mark. I want that pencil mark to fall as close to that track line as possible, and it's easy to see. I'm going to put my blade down literally on top of that pencil mark, and I'm going to slide it to this pencil mark here, and then I'm going to stop. Better not to cut enough and then to go back and make a little bit bigger slit than cut too much. Now I'm going to slide this over so that this pencil mark is going to fall near that track. Same here. And I'm going to line up my blade so it's going to fall right on top of this dot. And I'm going to stop here. Okay, so you see how I've got my slit? And we're going to erase those pencil lines. There we go. We're going to erase those pencil lines. Now, just very carefully, because remember your paper has been embossed and you did cut a slit there. So you don't want to get too vigorous with that eraser. Let's finish off the top of the tag. I cut 5 inches of the 5/8 inch burlap ribbon, and I'm going to string that through the top. And I'm going to fold those together. We're going to end up giving that a little bit of a trim in a second. Then I've cut 12 inches of the Candy Cane Lane baker's twine. That's real red. It also has a really, really pretty white and red spiral candy cane type twine with it. I wish I could show you it. I actually used every ounce of it, to be honest. And then I have 2 strands from the burlap that I pulled apart. Let me show you how I did that. The burlap ribbon is actually stitched on both sides, but if you cut off the very last end to remove the seam, it allows you to pull apart just strands of it to use it and place for tying. So I've cut those all at 12 inches. I'm going to cinch these together. Now I probably cut way more than I needed, and I don't like to fight with short ends, so if you decide you need a little bit less than that, that'll be fine. I put my finger there to create some tension, and now I am pulling, and now I'm going to make a bow. So I have my bow. I'm going to put my finger on the knot, and I'm going to adjust those loops so that it's not too big or too small. Once I've got it where I want it, and I do want something whimsical, so I don't want it to be perfect. I'm going to pull those a little tighter, and you can come back in with your paper snips and give those ends a little bit of a haircut. And I'm going to add him here, but wait, I've got to add the cute little accessory. How about those mini jingle bells? I'm loving these. You get red and silver. I'm going to use the red ones just because they coordinate. And the easiest way is glue dots. So let me show you what I've done. I'm going to pull back 1 dot to expose it. I'm going to take the bell and I'm going to place it on top. And I am going to spiral this on top of the glue dot because I want it to stick when I pull it off. I centered 1 near the top. And I did the same thing again with the other one. So the base is on the bottom. You can thread those. That baker's twine will fit through there. I've actually done it. And then 1 here at the bottom. Now you can put them side by side or top and bottom, which is what I've done. There we go. And then the last thing would be to give this a little bit of a trim. It's a little bit long for me. And there we go. There is our Tag Gingerbread card. Isn't he cute? And I love that little frosted look with that chalk marker. Here's the one we've done today, and here's the one I did beforehand. Remember, head over to my blog for the cutting dimensions. They're there, as well as really nice close-up pictures for you to look at. And don't forget, head over to my online classes tab. There is some great PDF projects for you there in my PDF project tutorial library. I'm so glad you joined me, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.